It's the day of the first day of our online class. And since we're doing this all by ourselves, we're a little bit nervous. Double checking, making sure that everything is just right. Double checking connections and cords, and triple checking, making sure we even have a recording on a second screen. Scott's gonna have an HD video, so his portion of the demo. And then he thought that he would try and do a vertical palette, which he doesn't really do much because he uses so much paint. So this is a tester. If the paint starts to fall off, then he has a secondary palette right there. But we're excited and I guess nervous because I've been waiting for this for so long. Got my Zoom ready to click on, got books ready to talk about, and 5 weeks of a lesson plan. Here's a painting of Scott's. It's kind of, you have to get close to it, oopsie, and try not to get glare. But one of his beautiful paintings. We have extra microphones so that no matter what, Scott's voice will be 100%.
All right. That gets a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna add a little bit of red, a little bit more yellow to this here. Because for each area, for the skin, I'm gonna try to block in a shadow and a light. And then for the hair, I would block in the shadow and then maybe a light pattern on it. Was amazing. And so that opened my eyes to the fact of how good you needed to, how much effort you needed to put into getting your references, but also learning your materials. And your materials, your camera, for an artist that's going to work from photographs, that's a big part of your technical toolkit. So I actually went to school. I was out of the academy and making a living as a painting, but I started taking classes at Columbia College for photography and for writing as well, and for film. But the photography course was really great. I mean,
yeah, that was great, guys.
oh, good.
Halftones in the light, Arlene.
I know. I took lots of notes.
Good. No, I mean, we have to have at least one major takeaway each class.
Yeah, there were several, and really the thing you said about the trees made a lot of sense to me. I thought, I forgot.
But you do that though.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we do it without knowing it, but even just the reminding,
yes,
it's like hearing it, even though you do it, you're like, yes.
Well, and sometimes we'll apply it to trees, it's obvious, or we've been shown that, but then we forget that, oh, that same principle happens in a face.
Yeah, I know.
That's the number one thing, and that's why I harped on the eyelids, because we all do it, but people, especially when you work from photos, the eyelids look very light, and they put the exact same highlight on the eyelids as on the forehead. And then I feel like I just it's one thing I mention a lot.
Let me stop that other thing.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys.
Yay.
That was great.
This is the third day of our online class. I haven't been filming that much for the Artist Diaries this month just because I've been working on this class so much. This is going to be a slideshow talking about high key, high chroma. I'm going to do critiques online. I have a list of lessons that I'm going to go over. Scott is getting ready for his demo. And this is where I sit. So Scott will sit here while I'm talking because people can ask questions. And so he's always looking at the chat. And then when he does his demo, I will sit here. And then we have this as a feed to the live stream so that we have HD. And we record this separately so that people can see the paintings in high definition instead of over the Zoom when I release the link after class. I mean, they can watch it during Zoom, but then afterwards, the recording, they get a much better version of the painting. And so we've decided to do these. Usually we don't paint with vertical palettes, but for the class, it kind of is helpful. And Scott, just to let you know, that paint might be a little bit off camera.
What?
Remember we were gonna have the paint
I
be.
have to mix a little over here.
Oh, I thought you were gonna mix down there and then just add the.
I'm gonna mix some piles of some of the darker things because
Oh.
I don't want to use darks. It'll be the high key
Okay.
painting. So I'm gonna mix some piles down here that I'll then put up here, and that way people can see them. But you can move the camera over a little bit.
All
when I
right,
mix it
yeah.
If you want.
No,
Yeah.
just keeping that in mind because the first class we did, we were learning how to do the vertical palette and some of the paints were like a little bit off, and we had to make sure they got on camera. Scott worked on his photo of the demo that he's gonna do, and we give photos and references to the students so they can paint along and do homework and practice. And I've just been loving these books. I know I've mentioned them, but loving learning about just the different things that I never learned in art school. So we're just getting ready. Luckily, we've kind of figured it out a little bit.
Should be fun.
There's a lot of a learning curve, especially in the first class. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do? Where do
These
we?
are our microphones.
You know, 2 microphones. So one microphone is to this, and then another microphone goes to this, so we make sure that everybody can hear everything.
Yeah.
This is Scott's demo from our 3rd class, all about high chroma, high key, and he's exhausted because he doesn't know how to mediate or moderate his.
I go
His-
all out.
Your mouth is, well, in a good way, it is nonstop because you just want to give.
Too much information in an hour and a half.
Yeah, so just want to show, you know, all these colors, and he even had colors down here. So for the video, you know, just doing a vertical palette, but he tends not to paint with vertical. Here, Scott, why don't you hold it so you can get some close-ups?
Doesn't seem to want to focus. Oh, there we go. It focused.
Okay. So there's not enough contrast.
Yeah, there's no darks in this. So that was the whole point of the demo, was showing how to make things lighter and you know, not
Using pure color.
use pure color, and it's in the middle range where you're going to get the really brighter color. So my darkest dark was this purple on top. So I didn't let myself, I mixed these beforehand so that I didn't even have an ultramarine or a alizarin or a black or anything that would be too dark. So you have to work with those, and so therefore you can get a brighter colors. So interesting, fun.
Yeah,
demo.
The class loved
Yeah.
it.
Love the
And-
class.
We videoed it, and there's my desk, and there's the books, and here's my studio. So we don't know, oh, we have some errands to run.
Scraping my palette off. We're putting
Yeah,
colors
oh,
over
see,
here.
Scott forgot to bring a wet carrying
Yeah.
case.
I'm just using this, and
This is what he had his paints in, but now he can transfer this home and clean it out when he
so
gets
you can see
home.
how they're all pastels, there's no darks. But I always love when you clean the palette off, how cool it looks. I've started to use some of these as my backgrounds for paintings, and what I do is I take these rubber things and I'll add a little bit of mineral spirits to it here,
Oh,
and then I'll just
you're gonna get it all over your jeans.
I'll put it this way. Put it this way, just add a little bit of mineral spirits, and then you can just pull it. And you just
Oh,
get
so you can
these
do the whole board.
beautiful, interesting designs. I don't know. I just thought these make great backgrounds for it. I'll let it dry then.
Yeah, why not?
They make great backgrounds for painting.
It looks like a wash, you know, almost like an acrylic wash.
No, yeah, I've been doing this with acrylics a lot, but it's interesting how cool they look.
Uh-oh, you're gonna get it all over. And this is one of those hard boards.
It's on metal, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could lift it up and I can show what's on the
I
back.
gotta dry some of this off before I
Somebody did ask during class, well, how do you not get paint all over you?
I I don't
And
tend to get much
you
paint
don't,
on me
except for
some
like,
reason.
people are going to see this video and go, yep, now we know.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna get paint on me from this either.
Oh, well, be a miracle. I do get paint on me, and I do wear an apron.
Yeah, you don't even paint as thick, and you don't do all these crazy
Well, I
things.
also get food all over me. Somehow I have no dexterity when it comes to my hands.
So yeah, this is that metal board.
Oh, so this is, wait, it's upside down. It's called the Art Fix All in Panel, Professional Artist Panel. Oh, it's something, wait, what does it say? It says leaf primed, 562 leaf primed or something.
But look at how cool that looks. Don't you think that's perfect for a background to put a face or a figure or something?
Well,
on?
just, start off with. I mean, it is just, you love using
I'm
these.
gonna start using these more often as my palette, and saving them for painting on. Because I've been toning things with acrylics, doing similar, but I hate wasting paint.
Right.
And here, I don't even have to wash it all off then. It's like all set. Yeah.
Sounds cool. Can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Yeah.
Hi, Theo. It's getting to be spring out. Theo doesn't like to go outside, so this is about as far as he goes. And then he wants to go back inside. He's a very unusual kitty that just likes comfort and safety. And, oh, kitty, are you already scared? Are you already scared? I kind of wanted to show you, sometimes I show you guys things in our house, and we have to get a new septic field. Life, things you just didn't know when you lived in the country. Those type of things you just completely, I guess, don't even realize. You go, oh, things just work out, you know. I grew up in the city. I mean, we never have to think about septic. So years ago, we literally had to get that dug up because the people before us just buried it. So we've had a lot of, like, let's just say life has been interesting the last 3 to 4 weeks. I have to go to the laundromat. And they were digging because they have to change our field. Because what happens is, if your field has been there too long, our house is from 1860, so I don't even know, what they did. Obviously, it was probably outhouses. Well, they found that they had to go all the way over here to find an area, because you have to, like, I won't even go into it. But so all the way down here, then they zigzag. I guess the new technology is that they zigzag. And luckily we own this property, because if we didn't, I mean, who knows what would happen. They were telling us horror stories about people who would buy houses and then couldn't get such, well, I won't go into that. Scott, with his fun mail tools, like he loves to cut down trees, cut down this whole field of trees. Literally, I mean, this used to be from here, like those little pink, was just brush and trees. Look at that gigantic tree. I mean, we had so many trees and so much brush here. No, literally, it probably spent 4 or 5 days, all day long, just cutting things down, moving things, dragging things. And now this is open like a park. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool and beautiful. I mean, I don't know if the deer don't like it because now they don't have places to hide. But because of this now, we get to see this amazing tree there. I mean, I wish we could figure out how big that tree is. I'm gonna measure it. And there's a really kind of a big tree right there too. But I guess our new septic field is gonna be zigzag. And then Scott says it goes all the way down into here and it's gonna be gravity. And just thought I would tell you, it can be stressful. Let me tell you, I've had some stressful nights. Yeah, but I'm so happy that spring is here and I'm gonna figure out what to do with that. But I'm gonna figure out that later. Anyone who's seen my videos knows that this studio is a little bit of a storage. Now, we brought our bike here and I think Scott has used it a few times. Anyways. So I don't really work in here. Of course, it's always here if I need it. Oh my gosh, just, excess frames, excess drawing stuff. But the reason why I'm coming in here is because I had awesome news. Scott and I started a Squarespace to do online classes and to, sell sketches ourselves. And this sold last night. Oh my God, totally made my day. I had had it in the Prix de West. And of course it's not Western at all. It's kind of like the glare. Let me see if I turn the lights on. So I don't think that they really cared for it, but it's Desert Wanderer, so it's almost like a girl going to Coachella. So anyways, so, but no, I'm happy with it, and I'm very happy it sold. I also got a prize through Dakota Pastels as like a second place. So I've always wanted a place to do pastels, and it's hard because some galleries don't want them. But I was so pleased to have this sell through my website. I had to share this. I hope this is a laugh. Anyone that has seen my earlier videos will remember when I got this. It is March 2024, and I think I bought that last summer. It has sat here in our front hall this long. Finally, we're getting our bathroom done. Let me just say, it's been a while. So here is the trim for the wainscoting, flooring over there. It has to be acclimated. New toilet. I mean, it's ridiculous. Scott has a handyman coming, and he set up, got a new saw last night. Wow, he said he got that on sale for like $130. I don't believe him. I'm gonna look at that receipt. But he needs it to like make crates and stuff. Oh my God, it's so foggy. Ah, beautiful, but yeah, we're having septic people maybe come today, but if it's too wet, they can't come. But I just thought, finally progress. When I was in my 20s, I would make scrapbooks. This was before Pinterest. And I guess, I was doing it for posterity. It was before, you had the internet. And I'm going through my life and trying to decide what to throw out. I thought before I threw these out, I would just do a quick little video of the things that were inspiring me when I would look at magazines. And I don't know, you want to throw things out, but then you feel guilty. And I figure, what is the point, of even filming or having a YouTube channel kind of like as a diary? I mean, look at the time I spent cutting these things out and pasting them in here. So these were just various art magazines, or there was this I think even might have come from Art Talk, which was a very old newspaper. God, oh my gosh, so long ago. A beautiful painting by Nancy Guzik. Art of the West, 1999. So, you just don't want to hold on to this stuff anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, because a lot of these things you can have saved in digital files. But also, do you ever even look at them if they're in digital files? That's also why I love Pinterest so much. So this is an old Scott. So it was obviously someone had bought it, probably a demo, or maybe Scott brought it to a workshop. Because back then, we didn't even have things on the internet to sell, It was maybe a gallery, but somebody was selling it. So this was 1999 probably, for $800 to $1,200. So this was a model we had in Chicago. And she was a great model. But I remember one time she showed up at our apartment. And so this must have been done in 1995, actually. So yeah, that's a painting by Scott in 1995, because it's done from life. And we moved to North Carolina in 96. I just remember her showing up to our apartment once, and she'd shaved her head. So we hired a model thinking she was going to look a certain way, and then she came with absolutely no hair one time. This is an old Dan Gerhardt's. So, only an 8x10. So a lot of times people would buy paintings, and there was an auction in Scottsdale that, maybe it was at Scottsdale Artist School. I can't remember. But C.W. Mundy. And so those are Rose Franson early paintings. I could tell because these are newsprint. So it was from that newspaper, not glossy like a magazine. Yeah, look at these. So these are all, so this is a Laura Robb, a Sandy Scott etching. I guess to me, I felt like before I threw these out, I was just going to do Bettina Steinke. Oh my God. What I would not do to see a Bettina Steinke for this. It's very hard to find Bettina Steinke's work. There's no really great books on her. I remember I have one book, but it's not great. Every now and then I see stuff, but I wish her work was more well known. So I don't know exactly when I would put these things in here, but I know I started scrapbooks in the 90s. And a lot of times, sometimes, you know, this is the only time you'd be able to get to see some work before the internet became so huge. And I love looking at old magazines. I don't know if you guys ever do that. Like Kevin Taylor, I mean, that's a beautiful little landscape. Sometimes you see people and you wonder whatever happened to them. You know, like maybe an artist was really popular, or you'd see their work for a lot of times in shows. Oh my God, oh, that's beautiful. That's a watercolor. I kind of made these myself, thinking that they would be my own coffee table books. Nancy Guzik. This is the newspaper, so it's probably that old Art Talk magazine. I wish Nancy would do a book. We need to see her work. I love this guy, Bob Proctor, or Bert. I think maybe it's Bert Proctor. Probably was an old illustrator turned Western art guy, like they all did, the 30s, 40s, 50s. I really like his work. Ooh, that's some Richard Schmid, kind of one of those monochrome oil wash paintings. Okay, let's try and be dexterous and try and do this with one hand. Oh my God. Okay, let's see if yep, need my right hand. Oh, I can't remember this guy's name, but I have his book. Such a good painter. Oh my gosh, such a good painter. Oh, cover of U.S. Art. There isn't U.S. Art anymore. So this was from September of 1989. Oh my God. U.S. Art. Romantic realism. That was a great way to, you know, describe Richard's work. It looks like I got something on it. What a beautiful painting. Another Richard Schmid. Richard Schmid. Oh, that Chinese artist. I can't remember his name. I wish I could. I know if I would just say it wrong. Oh, Nancy Guzik. Still life. Oh my God, that's 40 by 48. Holy cow, that's gorgeous. Richard. Nancy. Actually, Nancy has this painting in her house. God, it's beautiful. Oh, look at the kitty. It's almost, you can't really tell until too much glare. Morgan Weisling. It's an early Morgan Weisling. Oh, here we go. Here's Bettina Steinke. 1991, Art of the West. Gosh, she's good. Oh, wow. She has such a quality of Zorn. Yeah. Oh, this is one of, oh, I think I'm going to have to rip this out. I want to keep this. So when I first met Scott and Richard and stuff, Richard would have these old cards in his house, and he would just give them away. Pretty, you know, it's like, kind of, if you wanted it, you're like, oh, this drawing. He also did this in a Conte, and wow, I loved it. I think, you know, I think it was more of a was it a Conte or a monotone painting? Or maybe he did this, this image a few times. But this was the type of stuff that really introduced me into using dry media, either pastel, charcoal, or oil, really just dry, and thinking of it as painting instead of drawing. So to me, this is like painting. Its shape, its edges, its mass. I mean, the epitome of lost and found. And this is so stunning also. You know, I'm going to have to get this. Oh my God, look at Susan. Oh, it's glued on here. I'm sure on the other side it probably talked about when his show was. And I'm going to say this was probably in the 70s. Oh, man. Dummy. Dummy. Oh, Hui-Han Liu. God, he's good. He's just a master painter. Unbelievable. Oh, that's kind of loose. Good. Yeah. So a lot of these people, I'm not exactly sure who they are. Oh, Donna Phipps Stout. I love her work. Oh, I just fell in love with her work when I saw her in a magazine. So this says it was done in 2000, but I know I had seen her work in the 90s, and I just loved it. Richard Schmid, getting it right is the most important thing technically. So this is what I consider like a monotone painting. This was done in 1971. So US, I don't know, maybe this was International Artist? So you can freeze frame. I'm not going to read this, but you can freeze frame this if you wanted to read his answers and the questions. Oh yeah, look at that. That's another Richard. So a lot of Richard's paintings, you can tell, are just, there's a lot of Mancini influence. The idea of a figure within a scene and, you know, just like a story, but like the figure, it doesn't have to, it's the focal point, but then the scene around the figure. I definitely, you know, I could see, you know, I guess he would tell Scott about that, you know, and you could just see it in his work. You really could see it. Once you start to look more at Mancini's work, you really saw the influence. This is a Ken Oster. I remember when I first saw Ken Oster's work, he lived in Laguna, and he would just paint so loose and fast and juicy and did tons of like street scenes. And he really started that whole craze. I mean, I think, if I'm wrong, but he was the first person I saw that did those kitchen scenes where chefs in restaurants, you know, but that would have been like, he was doing that in the 80s and early 90s. So the first, I mean, maybe other people did it, but it was the first that I had seen. It's beautiful painting that Richard did of him and Nancy from Central Park. Oh my gosh, this says Madrid. I think that he didn't, I thought he did one of him and her in Central Park. Maybe there is another one, and oh, this is pretty. I'm going to keep that. All right. Yeah, beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh, that's by Bitney. Oh my God, I love it. We met by a long time ago in Montana show. It's Kwong. Oh my gosh, Frank Benson. It's just inspiring to look at art. Oh, I love doing. Here we go. Here's one of Richard in Central Park. I guess I was thinking, I forgot. I thought I had remembered. I mean, he had him and Nancy in one, but maybe this is the one I'm thinking of. Holy cow, those colors are gorgeous. Oh, there we go. There's Burt Proctor again. Just so shapy. God, I really love it. Donna Phipps Stout. Man, I wish I could have met her. I think she was a teacher at a college. I would try so hard to look her up, and she just was kind of off the grid. Just did not either want to be found or wasn't into social media. Look at that. That's beautiful. This is Bettina Steinke. So I'd cut it out of a magazine. Zorn. Is that Zorn? Yeah, and then Dan Gerhardt's. Some of these people I can't remember. Oh, Matt Smith. Nice. Bill Anton. Oh, that's a black and white photo of a painting. I don't think it was a black and white painting. Wei Han. My God, that guy is a good painter. Unbelievable. Morgan Weisling. So beautiful. Oh, there's a Richard Schmid. What's this? Oh, that's a Rose Franson. This is an actual photograph. So we must have taken a photograph of her painting in person and then printed it out on an 8x10. I mean, that's what you had to do in the old days, right? Oh, that's another one of Rose's. Printing it out ourselves. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Holy cow. Donna Phipps Stout. So distinctive, her style. Richard Schmid, dual spread. Probably a plein air show. Gorgeous. Oh, Edgar Payne. Wow. He really influenced a lot of artists. So unique. This must be Papa, Plein Air Painters of America, when they would have their shows in like Catalina and stuff. And they would do ads. Nikolai Fashion. Evgeny. Oh, I think this is, oh my God, Jeff Hine. These are the things that before I even met Jeff, I take his images out of his magazine. God, he's always been so good. It's so fun. Seeing someone's work before you meet them. Oh my gosh. Okay, so pages are getting harder to turn. Oh, King Show. That's beautiful. Wow, the shapes. Love it. Who did this? Huh, I do not know. Nikolai Fashion. Oh, okay. And then I had this big one of Donna Phipps Stout in the back. See, now I don't feel bad about throwing this out. This is the 5th day of our online class, and Scott is going to do the demo today. He's going to do a backlit of our niece Willow. So he's laid out all his paints. He definitely uses a lot more paint than me. Now this is just a canvas. On one of the earlier classes, he had this sideways, and that was his palette. So he's just using canvas board for his palette because, you know, masonite or other glass palettes can be too heavy, or just, this works perfectly fine. And then he can make this sort of abstraction and use that as a background. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, all of this is going to be completely covered because of the nature of this painting, which is, you know, he has to make it slightly dark to even show that beautiful rim light. I'm going to talk about my little examples that I did. So this is a Himba boy, a photograph that we took from our trip years ago. And this is the progression of a block-in. So very, very posterized, just black and white, pretty much 3 values. And then transferring it to color. So it was really just a permanent matter, medium and black. And so just still extremely posterized, but just adding a little bit color notes to see what it feels. Now this is kind of like the traditional, everything is a little bit smoothed out. You know, you get from the, you know, how do you get from these stages? Dramatic, still trying to be dramatic, but adding color. And then what happens is we touch our paintings too much. Overmix, so all the values become just middle. You know, you start to what I call lick. And, you know, these two, 25-minute, half hour, this one, I'm gonna say maybe 40 minutes because I've gotten used to the block-in. So I'm used to the shapes, but then it's a little bit more licking. Now this one was the tricky one because I fiddled back and forth. I know I tried my hardest to block in like these bottom ones, but then I would start to lick and then second guess, and then little bit over time, trying to get the color and the excitement from the bottom ones up here, because I felt that this one became too, you know, it's just boring. So adding the colors in the background, also trying to, you know, have some refinement, but then also having a few thicker strokes. And then trying to play with that black and permanent, you know, that dark pink, seeing where you could have some harder edges and where you can soften. You know, trying to get that ear in there, but with not too much of the ear. So that last stage is the tricky part. That's the hard part. And that's the part that, you know, to be honest with you, you can be fiddling with for days, weeks, months, because you'll be second guessing yourself. So I'm going to be talking about that today for the last class with just a whole bunch of other things. The class has been amazing. I've loved it. To be honest with you, I think I could, I don't know, I think I could do that for the rest of my life, just painting for fun. You know, my little color studies that I've done for class to teach, talking about these new books that I got that I've really enjoyed, and just meeting people over Zoom.
Wrong with it, okay? So I'm going to now just use this dry. I'm not putting mineral spirits on it yet, and let's just see what happens. Okay, so as we put this on, you see how I'm starting to pull things into each other.
So you're getting that glow. Instead of the white canvas, you're getting some of the transparent paint, but also stuff that was on the canvas to begin with.
Yeah, and when I add some mineral spirits, it'll really go down to what's been on the canvas.
Oh, I like that look. It looks fun. It looks like you're using almost like oil sticks.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So it's kind of like that. I'll use this other one too here. This is going to get pretty messy since I've got.
Oh no, Scott, you're going to get messy.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
working this off a little bit here now. And
Maybe people should wear gloves if they want to try this.
Yeah, you can wear gloves, definitely. I tend to clean these things off quite a bit as I'm working on them. All right, and now I'm going to grab this other one here. And so yeah, I like I didn't use any mineral spirits in the actual paint when I put any of my paint down, but now you can see how as you work this, you can play around with it a bit with different ways. So you can do all this. So partly these demos are to show you painting, we talk about drawing and all that, but it's also to kind of spur your imagination to think of different possible
Oh my
ways
God,
of
right through her
techniques.
face.
Okay,
Oh
so
God.
the stage. So it's the biggest shapes first. Now I'm going to the medium size shapes. And then I will go to details. So I just really look at these shapes, not detail. All right, so now a small jump is from here to the corner of this eye, all right? So you want to do small jumps as much as you can. So from going from here, say, to the top of the eyebrow is a giant jump. or from here down to the chin. I'm not going to put that in until I'll go little jumps. Like when I get to the lips, I'll go for the top of the lip, the middle of the mouth, bottom of the lip, then the chin. From here, this is a big jump, but her head is tilted up a little bit, so I could kind of see what is the distance from, say, where the top of the nose is here. Okay.
It's pretty much always closer than we
about
think.
That distance. So you think of that and you kind of look back and forth to your picture and you try to judge it. Is it like one nose difference? Is it? And so I'm going to make a little bit of a darker, use some burnt sienna here, and a little bit of this just kind of dark color here, and a bit of red, because it's not a real dark in that corner of the eye, but just something where I can make a definite mark, a definite point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my brush up on my photograph, and I'm going to see what does this corner line up with. So I'm going to hold it up, okay, and the corner of the eye is just the tiniest bit over from that. And so I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go straight up.
Thought I would show you what we're still dealing with a month later. So our septic used to be over there. You know, lots too much information. Then they're digging over here. Scott had to cut down half those trees. And they've been doing this all day. So I guess this is the new way that they do septic. It's a little confusing, but it's like Scott says that the white pipes lead from our box all the way down here. And then they have to dig these things. And, oh, yeah, you can see right there. And so Scott says those fill up. So these particular things, they fill up and then they just disperse because of gravity.
Yeah, so these go on top. So they're over dirt. They keep dirt from going in there, so it creates a cavity.
Oh, wait, so it doesn't make a circle. It just makes an arch.
That just goes on top.
Like a bridge.
And the water just goes over the dirt, and then it will filter down into the ground. And it goes sideways. They're on the same level. They have to be same level. So that feeds through one. Then at the end, then they have a pipe that will feed to the next one. And there's five of them.
So there's partly gravity, but then partly it has to be level, you said. Oh, there we go.
They left these open for the inspector to come and measure, make sure that these are all level. He has a pole with a GPS thing on it. And
oh my God, you can even see it way down in there
because
too.
if they're at an angle, the water will just run right through them without seeping down into the ground.
So you have to find dirt that is part sand, part clay, and
it just has to be enough so that it'll go through. If it's too much clay or too difficult.
So that's the problem. It's like things getting perking is what they call it. Perking.
Like up here, there was rock not too far under.
Yeah, it's kind of rocky up here.
Will not allow it to go through at all into the.
Yeah, and you said you had to cut all these trees so that the roots won't go into these black things.
No, I had to cut all the trees so that they could actually have.
Dig.
For them to get through, and all the small brush and all that stuff, so they get there.
But what about these trees right here? Do we have to worry about these middle?
These, he showed me where they were going to go. These are on the edge of the ridge, so you see how this goes up here. The first one goes up here, so the next one had to be below the ridge. So he said these trees are fine, and those big ones there too. He said they can work around that. You can see how they can turn them a bit, so they can actually make a bit of a turn.
Oh, wow.
They don't have to be exactly straight.
Anyways, it's interesting. Just wanted to document it. Now we're off to return stuff from our bathroom that was being remodeled today. Too much stuff going on. Oh, see, they broke our old toilet. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at these little flowers. Oh, how pretty.
I know, things are blooming everywhere.
I know.
Look at those.
They look like purple, like they're like kind of a pansy slash, what are those little leprechaun flowers? I can't remember. Yeah, the magnolias. Okay, off to Home Depot. Since I'm staying home again today, this is what it looks like outside my studio. I don't even really want to go look exactly, see what the septic looks like. So I've been organizing all of these mats. So over the decades, of painting and drawing, I gave away a bunch of frames, but still have some. And I have mats that have broken. I had mats and frames and lots of plexiglass. You know, I was thinking about all of this stuff could be thousands of dollars. Anyway, so now I'm trying to measure see if any of these mats go with any of these frames that I have. While I get to look out my window as they dig up my yard.